Hey guys, this is Miss Arlequin, and now that we are reaching the end of our College 101 unit, we're going to be starting our work on our performance-based task. So tonight, to get started, we're going to take a look at a model essay. Now for this particular task, we're writing an argumentative essay. So argumentative essays usually include reasoning. You make a claim, something that you believe in that you want to argue, and then you include reasons and text evidence that can prove that your claim is correct. In a way, it's similar to a persuasive essay, except that you're not necessarily using overly persuasive language to convince your reader that they should side with you. But in an argumentative essay, you are building an argument. This is what you believe, and here's all the evidence and reasons for why you believe what you do. Like all essays, an argumentative essay is going to have a thesis sentence. You're going to have a claim since you are making an argument, and you might include counterclaims. Counterclaims are always going to strengthen your position because you are in advance thinking about what somebody on the other side might say, and then you're refuting it. You're explaining why either they're not right or why what they're saying isn't that important and you are still the one who's correct. Of course, like every other essay, you want to have relevant evidence. So your evidence should show logical reasoning, you should have citations, and every piece of evidence should go to prove that your claim is correct. And then your concluding paragraph sums up or restates the thesis, explains why everything you've been writing about matters or should matter to your reader. So those of you who have been in my class before know that I always like to compare the development of an essay to the shape of an hourglass. Basically because an hourglass starts out on top being very wide. And this is the same thing for the introduction of your essay. Here in the introductory paragraph, we start out with a hook, also known as an engaging lead. And you want those sentences to be pretty general, right? You don't start out in those first few sentences by stating the name of the author or the name of the article or specific character names. You start out with a more general lead-in to the specific text that you're writing about. Now, this whole entire top half of the hourglass is your intro paragraph. So as the introduction goes on, you slowly start to get more and more specific. Somewhere in the middle of the introduction is where you would actually start to introduce the author of the text and the title. Until you get to the narrowest part of the hourglass, that is the last sentence of your intro. This is where your thesis statement goes. Now, once you become an advanced writer, your thesis statement doesn't necessarily have to be the last sentence, but until you're comfortable developing an introduction, the safest bet is to put it as the last sentence. Now, the middle of the hourglass is the narrowest part, and that's just like the body paragraphs of your essay. In the body paragraphs, you are including very specific, narrow details, text evidence, reasons, elaboration, and of course, citations. And then the bottom of your hourglass is the conclusion part of your essay. You can see it is like the reverse of your introduction, which means you start out being very specific by restating your thesis statement. And then as the conclusion develops, you start to get less specific. You start to get more general, bring it back to the real world. So this would be a place where you would start to make connections to real life, explain why the specific text and the specific topics you talked about have any kind of connection to your reader, their life, the world in general. All right, so for this unit test, we're going to be analyzing which of the college applicants, either Mendoza, Gregory, or Gallagher, would be the best candidate to take open online courses. In your essay, you're going to discuss the traits that each applicant has that would make them the best choice for an online environment. Now, you want to make sure that you're using both text evidence from that student's college essay and then also from the article we read by Laura Papano about the year of the MOOC. All right, so now let's take a look at our sample student essay. It comes from a student named Dan Ryder. It's called "The College of the Future is Not for Everyone." In her article, The Year of the MOOC, Laura Papano describes the College of the Future as open to anyone with an internet connection. That could mean hundreds of thousands of students in one class. after examining the article, A Homeless Girl's Dream by Janine Amber, and coming to understand that Khadijah Williams needs social contact and also that she wants to earn a real degree, I am convinced that simply taking open online courses is not right for her. One reason I maintain this position is that interacting with teachers and other students at Harvard is an important part of Khadijah's happiness there. Amber notes that Khadijah is very enthusiastic about her school, her friends, and the debate team. An online university would not allow that sort of interaction and support because, as Papano explains, instructor connection and feedback, including student interactions, is difficult. Some may argue that social networking would satisfy Khadijah's needs. However, I believe it would be too remote for someone like Khadijah. Khadijah's growing awareness of what she wants to do with her degree is another reason I contend that she would only thrive in a brick-and-mortar school. Being at Harvard has driven her to pursue a PhD and perhaps a career in education policy. Currently, online schools are only good for the knowledge students gain in a course. I confidently maintain that Khadijah Williams is sure to have a bright future as a student of a physical school as opposed to an online college. With encouragement from peers and professors, who knows how far Khadijah may go. All right, so for tonight, you're going to just go back into the model essay and do a little annotating. So you're going to follow the annotation guide that is on the side of the essay. You're going to underline the thesis statements. You're going to look in the body paragraphs for topic sentences. Any claims that that Dan makes about Khadijah, where he's using direct quotes. Do you see any evidence that Dan has woven his evidence? And then the conclusion, you're going to look for where he has restated his thesis and any sentence or sentences where he's leaving the reader with something to think about, right? So you always want to end your conclusion with some kind of thinking that your reader is going to do or a call to action. Make sure that you are ready to share out these annotations during the beginning of tomorrow's class.